One tiny line in exam instructions can cost you 5, 10, even 20 marks. In this lesson, you'll learn how to read instructions accurately, choose the best optional questions, and avoid wasting time by answering more or fewer questions than required. A painful way to lose marks has nothing to do with knowledge. It happens when you break the exam's basic rules. You might write a brilliant answer, but if you misread the instructions, skip a compulsory part, or attempt the wrong number of questions, those marks can disappear. So, the first big idea is this: before you start answering, learn the rules of the paper you're about to play. When you get the paper, your first job isn't solving, it's mapping. For the first 1 to 3 minutes, hunt for the rules, how many sections there are, which ones are compulsory, and where you have choices. Watch for instruction words like answer all, answer any two, only, and at least. Use that to build a quick mental map. Which sections look easy, where you have choice, and where the paper is heavy. Then you start answering with a clear plan instead of guessing. Most students lose marks because they think they understood the instructions but didn't. Use a simple translation protocol. First, slow down and hunt for numbers and keywords like 3, only, at least, compulsory, choose. Next, rewrite that rule in your own clear language in the margin. For example, do 3 questions from section B. Question 1 must be one of them. Finally, mark it visually, circle, underline, or box it, so it's almost impossible to forget while answering. As you scan the paper, treat it like mapping the terrain. Every question belongs in one of two worlds: compulsory or optional. Compulsory questions are non negotiable. You must attempt them at some point, even if they feel tough. Optional questions are where your strategy matters. That's where you choose the ones that fit your strengths. So, as you scan, quickly label them. Write C beside compulsory and put a small question mark beside optional questions. When a section gives you choices, don't start writing just to see how it goes. First, quickly read every option in that choice set. Then rate each one in your head. Anything that feels familiar and score friendly is good. Ones that seem okay become maybe. Anything confusing, super slow, or based on weak topics goes into avoid. Now deliberately pick the best, good option and fully commit your time and energy to that one. When you're deciding what to attempt first, use a simple filter: familiarity plus speed. Ask, is this one of my strongest topics? Did I revise this recently? That's your familiarity check. Then ask, can I usually solve this type quickly and cleanly? That's your speed check. Questions that are both familiar and fast become A questions. Do them early. If you know the topic but are slow on it, mark that question as backup for later. Risk versus reward means you're not just asking, can I do this question? But, is it worth it right now? Reward is the marks. Risk is the effort, the time, and the chance of silly mistakes. 2 questions might give 5 marks each. But if one needs messy calculations and the other is straightforward, they're not equal. You want the high mark questions that feel smooth and low drama. Keep asking yourself, where are the easier marks hiding? Then choose the path of least resistance. Once you've decided which questions you're doing, you need to lock that decision in. This prevents the mid exam switching that burns time and energy. First, clearly record your chosen question numbers so you can't accidentally change later. Next, use the exams boxes or spaces to mark your selections so the examiner can see them easily. Finally, physically cross out the questions you're definitely not doing. You're telling your brain, decision made, now just execute. Instead of trusting your memory, give your brain a simple visual system. At the start, quickly mark every question you must attempt with a small checkbox in the margin. As you truly finish a question, tick that box. Don't tick it for half answers. Now, whenever you glance at the paper, you instantly see what's done and what's left. This reduces panic, prevents missed compulsory questions, and makes your final 10-minute check much faster. There's a simple but expensive mistake many students make with choice questions: answering the wrong number. If you answer too few, you've thrown away easy marks you were allowed to score. If you answer too many, you've spent precious minutes on answers the examiner will ignore. Your fix is a tiny routine. Before you leave any section, pause. Count how many questions you were required to attempt. Count what you actually answered, and only then move on. In the last 10 minutes, your job isn't to be a hero and start new questions. Your job is to protect the marks you've already earned. Shift into audit mode. First, quickly confirm you've answered exactly the required number of questions in each section. Next, scan that your question numbers in the question paper, answer booklet, and any cover sheet actually match. Finally, hunt for any compulsory question you may have skipped and fix that before time runs out. Your integrated strategy is straightforward. First, lock in all compulsory questions where you're reasonably confident. These are non negotiable and usually give solid marks for predictable effort. Next, spend your remaining time on the best optional questions, ones you understand well, with good marks for the time they take. Only after that, and only if time remains, attack the risky or slow questions. All the way through, keep checking that you're meeting the exact required number in each section. In every exam, act as if you're running the system, not reacting to it. Start by scanning the instructions and quietly translating them into your own simple sentence so you can't misread them. When choosing questions, remember, speed and marks matter more than proving you can do the hardest one. Keep a visual track of what you attempted by ticking or marking as you finish. Then finish with a short audit. Count the required questions in each section and make sure every slot you owe the examiner is actually answered.